Hey, Jake here. Today I wanted to share a workflow that we can use for email archiving purposes. So, this workflow specifically was requested by a user, and I wanted to walk through how we can make it possible. So, their goal is to archive emails that they see that are important, and they want to pull out the summary of an email, the tags related to the email, so they can use it in their tagging system, and they want to store the content of the email as well. And ideally, they can trigger all of this from their inbox. So the workflow that we're going to walk through today follows this. We want to be able to forward an email in. We want to take that content directly out of the email and then store it as a Google Doc. We also want to use an AI step to summarize the email and write those tags. And then the output from both of these steps we need for the final step, which is storing that metadata in a Google Sheet. So I have a folder set up here in my Google Drive. I have my email tracker and a sample email. So what we're going to get is we have the date, senders, recipients, summary, those tags, and then the URL to the Google Doc. And we want to be able to forward an email in and pull it out so it looks like this. This is the raw email content. And then we want to write to this tracker as well. Okay, so our first step then is to create the workflow here in Carrot, and it's going to be super simple. All I have to do is select Transform for the purpose of our workflow, and then we'll select Google as our integration and kind of data provider and storage here. Just select the email tracker, and then I also need to grab the folder itself. So I'm going to open up the select file pane and select email demo. That's the folder that we're outputting the files to. And then for our final piece, we're just going to use a prompt that I have pre-written here. Create a workflow that takes a subject line and an email body. We just need that for it to receive the email content. We want to summarize the email, list out relevant tags for it, and then get the date and recipients. Save the email content as a new Google Doc, my email demo folder, and write out the metadata of the email to the email tracker. So we're going to click Create Workflow, and this will think for a few seconds here, and then we should have the workflow. All right, to save a little bit of time, I have a workflow pre-made here. The email Google Doc it'll essentially do everything we've discussed. We can visualize the workflow here by clicking the Visualize tab and then seeing the flow of the workflow itself. Now, to run the workflow, we want to be able to email this workflow for it to trigger off, and I have that created already. So this email triggers, you can come down here and click Create New, and then it'll give you an email that ends with the @Carrot workflow here. All we have to do is copy that, and then we can go into our email. I have another OpenSnow report pulled up already. I'm going to click Forward. I'm going to add in that email address and click Send, and now that has been sent to our workflow. In a moment here, we'll actually be able to see it pop up in the logs, and that will take a moment, so I'm going to pause the video until that is ready to go. Okay, and now we can see that it is switched to pending. So the system has grabbed the email now, and there we go. It just kicked off and switched to running. So I'll let that run for a moment here, and then we will go take a look at the results. All right, and now it looks like it just finished. So we can see the output here. It'll actually include a link to that Google Doc directly. So I'm going to pop that open. And we can see we got the subject line here of a surprise Thursday storm, and that should match up with what I just forwarded in. We can see the content of the email as well, and then some of their sponsorship and really the plain HTML. And then if we open up our folder here, we can see that the Google Doc has been created correctly in our folder. And up last, we have the email tracker, and we have the URL specifically. All right, thank you so much for watching. That is how you can build an email archival automation in Carrot. Thank you so much. Have a good day.